Hello, algebra students. Today we are going to learn to multiply variables. All right. So we're going to your I can statement. I can multiply variables. And before we actually do it, we're actually multiplying things with like bases. I don't like to start with that because sometimes it confuses kids. But take a look at 3 times 3. I know you all know it's 9. But is there another way we could say 3 times 3 a shorter way? Well, we could take the base 3 and see how many there are, right? There's 3 to the first power and 3 to the first power there. So that would be 3 to the second power. That's another way to say 3 times 3, isn't it? Okay. Now, if this is confusing you, don't worry about that. You'll see how that comes into play in a minute. 7 times 7 is the same as 7 to the third power, right? Okay. When I come down here with variables, it's very much the same thing. I'm going to do x squared times x cubed. Well, let me ask you this. What does x squared mean? Hopefully you know that it means x times x. And what does x cubed mean? Well, of course, then that would mean x times x times x, right? Well, how many x's are being multiplied together? Well, it looks like there's 5 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be x to the 5th. Now, some of you might be starting to wonder about something. I'm not going to mention it yet, but if you're wondering, that's good. If you notice this and this and that. Let's check this out. Okay. Um, x to the 6th times x to the 4th. Well, isn't that x times x times x times x, right? And x to the 4th is this. That's a long way. I don't really like writing this out, but I'll do it for you guys because I want you to see what's really going on. Okay, so you see all those x's? Well, how many of them are there? Well, there's 6 here and there's 4 there. So there's 10 x's being multiplied. Now, if you were one of those people that was wondering about the exponents, I think you might be onto something. Because if I take 6 and 4 and I add them together, don't I get 10? Just like that. And over here we have 2 plus 3, and that turned into 5, didn't it? Right, 2 plus 3 is 5. So when I multiply like bases, when I multiply like bases, add the exponents. Multiply like bases, I add the exponents. And that's where I got this 1. 3 to the first and 3 to the first, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Right? And over here I've got 7 to the first, 7 to the first, 7 to the first, and 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. So when I multiply like bases, I add exponents. Now, these problems down here, they look confusing. I'm telling you, they're simple. Don't make them hard. Watch how I'm going to show you how to do them, and they are going to be so easy to do. Instead of looking at this as one big problem, I'm going to look at them as 4 little problems. And the 4 little problems are all going to be simple. And therefore, my big problem will turn out to be a simple problem. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my coefficients. I've got a 3 here and a 5 here, right? So I'm going to multiply those together, and 3 times 5 ends up being 15. All right, now I'm going to multiply my x terms together, and I've got an x to the 5th and an x to the 4th. Well, from what I just learned, there's 5x's being multiplied here, 4x's being multiplied there, x plus x plus, excuse me, x times 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 x is the same as x to the 9th power. That's all I did. I added the 5 and 4 to get 9. Okay, now I'm going to take care of the y's. I got to warn you, this is a place a lot of kids make mistakes because you're not thinking about what it means. Y to the 6th is 6 y's being multiplied, and there's another y over here if you want. Stick a little exponent on it. I'm going to multiply y to the 6th times y to the 1st, or plain old y, and that's going to equal y to the 7th power, because there's 6 here and there's 1 y there, so there's 7. Finally, I have to do my z's, and I've got a z cubed and a z to the 4th. And when I multiply those, I'm going to get z to the 7th power. 3 plus 4 is 7. And there you go. All right, let's try this one. I'll tell you what, why don't you pause the video and see if you can do it on your own. Hopefully, you're still watching. I'm sorry, not hopefully, silly Mr. Lawrence. Let's go ahead and deal with our coefficients. Hopefully, you've already tried it on your own. I've got negative 6 times 4. I get a negative 24. X to the 4th times an x squared. Well, that must be an x to the 6th. Where did I get 6 from? 4 plus 2. Now I got to do the y's. Y to the 6th and a y to the 5th. That'd be a y to the 11th. And finally, I've got a z squared and a z. There's 3 z's altogether. And there we go. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, let's try this one. Last one. Again, go ahead and pause the video and see what you can do on your own. All right, if you're still watching, I'm going to multiply my coefficients, and 10 times a half, of course, is 5. X times x to the 5th will be an x to the 6th. A y cubed times a y will be a y to the 4th. And a z to the 4th times a z to the 4th is going to be a z to the 8th. All right, that's your lesson, multiplying exponents. Tomorrow we'll look at dividing exponents, but that's all you need to do for today. All right, Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.